Lancer needs you. Make sure they get home.
Understood.
Think they will scare so easily. Keep your finger on the trigger.
I love this. I love when the game sound goes out. Alright, sorry guys. So now, do this little mute. Alright, sorry about that. I don't know why it does that. You guys have seen it plenty of times on PC where you get too much going on, too many combos, too many whatever, and then the game audio just decides to take a poo on you. So, I'll go ahead and throw in some music here, little background tracks, while I soothingly narrate you with my Campbell's Soup Kitchen voice. And, so I know this is a little different from my normal Voltaic Dome build, which is the infinite combo, juggling, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just playing around with this right now. A lot of people have been, giving me some decent feedback and saying, hey man, you really need to play around with the Firewall mortar. It's absolutely, really good in GM2 and above. And after doing some stuff in GM2, and I did one run for GM3 Tyrant Mines, and good God, that was rough. Not Voltaic Dome was just not viable at that moment. And that's when, after I got my soul crushed with that, I decided to reevaluate the build. And so currently, I do agree that the Firewall mortar is outstanding for damage. I mean, you could just look at these ticks here. Alright, if you can stack these up, and I got lucky, I have a legendary one, and I think mine rolled with 200% charge on it or something, so I have 3 charges in mine. So as long as if you can stack 3 of those up on a slow-moving mob like that, I mean, just look at that damage tick, and I believe that's only 2 stacks. I think this is when I tried to keep it going here, and just look at that damage. I mean, it's something. That's really good. Okay, Voltaic Dome is not going to do that kind of damage. Sure, you can freeze them and then do your combos and whatnot, but just for a DPS output, this Firewall mortar is absolutely outstanding. And after playing around with it, I've gotten a little better. I'm not great, as you can tell. I still am pretty slow to aim and whatnot. I'm decent, and I can't wait to get a little bit more practice so I can actually get good with this and proficient. But after playing around, I'm really enjoying this now. All right, and for GM2 and onwards, this is what I'm going to recommend for players. I swap off that Voltaic Dome, because everybody else that I run with seems to have ice. And you're going to see this here. These Rangers or the Storm is going to cancel out a lot of my stuff here later with his ice build. So if you can just keep up the damage, that's kind of what you need to focus on, you know. So the fire damage plus best defense for the combos is just, it's good. So you're going to be very viable, and your endless siege cannon, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, so don't worry about that. Now, since we're talking about this build and viability, if you guys have been paying attention, you'll notice that they've talked about a new patch they're going to come out with, and they're going to be tweaking some numbers. And things are looking very, very good for us. If I remember correctly, the Colossus, they're tweaking a few things with our damage. Everything's scaling differently now, so Masterworks are going to be, what, like item level 60, I believe they said, or 65, whatever it was. Either way, the numbers are going to go up. Weapon scaling is going to go up. So either way, we're going to be doing a lot more damage. All classes are all around. People are going to be doing a lot more damage. So I believe that GM2 is pretty much going to be, now I'm not going to call it a joke, but I believe it'll be trivial. Alright, it'll be medium difficulty. You're going to have to pay attention because you can still die, but it will not be the struggle that it is today for a lot of groups. You know, I believe you'll be able to pug GM2 Tyrant Mines no problem after this patch because of the damage that's going to go out. Now, GM3 is still going to be, that's still going to break some pugs. I'm going to call that the pug breaker because that's, you know, was almost 1,000% more HP and stuff, and if you don't have a good build or good group set up with that and that complements each other builds, or does what this Storm doing, that they can see I'm dropping Firewall mortar on these guys, and the dude's just dropping ice on top of it, which cancels it out. So I'm losing a lot of DPS. Me and this Storm are competing for DPS here. You are not going to want to do that on a GM3 run. So this, you know, and people were, my friend was asking me, he's like, well, why did you show that video? Because, you know, you lost your sound and it's not the best video you made. I'm like, well, I agree. But this was a good example. I think when you're going to show how, when things go well, that's good. Anybody can make a video showing you like, oh, this is my good highlight clip. All right, but you also, I think you need to show mistakes. I think that's a very good teaching tool, is showing when people mess up. Like, this is what you don't need to do. Or when you mess up, this is what it looks like, so pay attention to that. And this is what you can see. I wanted to showcase, this is a perfect run for showing an example with contradicting builds on the opposing classes. So like I said, I'm set up to be a fire build, and obviously the Storm I'm running with, one of them at least, is set up to be ice. So we are canceling each other out, and basically we're hurting the DPS. We're hurting the team because, you know, it's a pug, so there's no coordination here, but this is what's going to happen. So when you guys build your groups and do the things you're going to do, if you're getting some friends together, whether you're on console, Discord, whatever you guys do, plan your groups, guys. If you're going to mess around in GM2, and especially 3, please plan your groups. You know, this Colossus build is outstanding. So if you were going to do anything, you know, maybe have like a Ranger, or have ice as a backup. You know, if one person has ice as an ice spell as a backup CC thing or whatever, that'd be great. But this, if you could have just some kind of a fire group, you know, especially with some acid, to get you a Devastator. Not a Devastator. I'm sorry, an Interceptor. Find yourself a decent Interceptor who's got poison in the cold. A lot of the really good high DPS Interceptors I've seen run the poison and cold frost build. So if you could have one of those, that would make this perfect, you know. But you got to build the groups, guys, because as you can see, this run went fine. This is a GM2 legendary contract, and I don't believe I think one person might have went down. You know, we weren't struggling with this at all, and but we could have done much better. You know, with the proper group and us not counteracting the spells and stuff, this could have just been face roll. Now here I'm just kind of walking around, I'm looking, I was also somewhat checking a text message on my phone, which is why I'm not, you know, going ham here. Another thing that a lot of you guys have commented on, and I agree, and it's sort of hard to do this in my videos, because a lot of people say, hey, why aren't you using your weapon more? Alright, you have Endless Siege with God Mode rolls, you need to be doing more damage. And you guys are absolutely right. Now, this is my fault totally, and it's something as a content creator, I do need to work on this. Because I don't record all my sessions, and I honestly should. It's something I need to buy a bigger hard drive, and I really should start recording all my runs, because there's a lot of stuff on my runs that I'm not recording that would be excellent footage for highlights, and like, man, this is like, boom, I did a combo and killed 10 things at once, or just, you know, soloing a tight, just, you know, the cool stuff, you know, Sports Center highlights. And I just don't think about it when I'm playing the game and I'm not recording for a video. You know, I don't think about filming it, and I'm just having a good time. And I promise you that I do. I use my Endless Siege on so much more than I do on my videos. So I promise I'm going to work on that. All right, I'm going to try to start recording more of my sessions, and that way, you know, when I make some of these videos, I can actually start putting in some good clips. That way, you guys can get on my back about it. But I promise I use my weapons. I do. I use my weapons quite a bit. Now, one thing I am thinking about right now with this build, and I would love for your feedback on this, guys. So please leave me some comments. Because I'm going to be running the Firewall, I no longer need the Rallner's Blaze. Okay, and that, you know, 5 consecutive shots ignites the target, so I don't need a fire primer anymore. So what would you guys do to replace that? I want to keep Endless Siege. So what weapon, you know, would you replace that with? Oh, look, Masterwork, hot dog. You know, there's a few good weapons I'm thinking of, but, you know, just something, you know, something with good rolls that boost my autocannon damage and ammo, or maybe a sniper rifle. I'm just, you know, there's a lot of options, but what would you guys recommend? I'm really open to the feedback here. Now, let's see, what part are we going to next? Oh, yeah, more flying, turrets, and I was happy. I think I only got 2 Masterworks from this run, which, you know, for my GM2 Legendary contract, I was hoping to get more than 2, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, I had 2 Legendary contracts bug out on me today, which I recorded those, but the mission just failed. It got to the point where it got stuck, and we couldn't progress anymore. On 2 Legendary contracts, it just got wasted, and I just got pissed off, and I turned my computer off. So hopefully they patch the game and get this fixed pretty soon, because it's starting to get annoying. At least the developers are putting a lot of feedback in this, and, you know, while I'm showing you guys this footage, I kind of want to get a few things off my chest about the game. You know, I've seen so much negative footage, or negative feedback and footage about this game. You know, people are just trashing it. I think it's just kind of trendy, because it's really easy to bash the game because there are a lot of flaws with it. You know, it was a piss poor launch. I believe the game was not ready for consumer, you know, consumption, if you will. I think they needed about at least another solid month or 2. I mean, we still don't have the SLI support, DLSS, you know, so people with high-end hardware, we can't take advantage of that. And I'm getting, you know, subpar frames per second, and I've got to run the game on medium and high because I can't utilize my second graphics card. It's very unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. Also, just the amount of bugs. They've done a good job with patching a few things, all right? The loot stuff, and I guess the loading screen times that went down, you know, they have done a decent job fixing a few things with this game, but there's still a number of flaws that are really, really going to hurt it. And especially with Division 2 right around the corner, I really hope that they address this pretty soon. Because I'm like players like myself, I'm going to play the mess out of Division 2. I can't wait for that game. I did the betas, and that game looks smooth as silk. It's much better than their first release, and it's really going to hurt Anthem's player base because a lot of people are going to go to it. And Anthem's got a decent little roadmap set up for their content, but for the stuff that's wrong with this game right now, I mean, the constant disconnects, the missions that, you know, bug out and you just can't progress in them. Quick play is still bugged. God, the audio bug, which is, we can see now. I mean, there's just so many little things that these really, really need to fix. And it's hurting the game. You know, but despite those things, you know, oh man, I come close to dying here. Man, gotta love that best. And I was really surprised. The best defense didn't heal me all that much. It's the funny thing, if I would have shot a wall, this is something you guys need to know. Like, I think I'm going to do it over here, but if you can walk into a wall and just shoot it point blank, you see it didn't do it right there. I wasn't close enough. But if for whatever reason it triggers the wall and you, and it'll restore, you know, almost half your health. I did it on a few other videos where I just shot it right at my feet and it gives me half my health back. So that's, you know, I imagine they're going to fix that eventually, which, you know, won't be too terribly bad, but it's a nice little bug right now, if you want to call it a bug. But yeah, I mean, it's still a great game. I'm really enjoying it. I'm also leveling up my Ranger on the side. I think he's only, you know, 460. I need to do my legendary components or legendary contracts on him to get those components in there for Masterwork. You know, but I'm enjoying the Ranger. It's kind of fun. It's definitely squishier, and it's a much different playstyle than my thick boy here. But it's fun, you know, and I really wouldn't mind messing around with that Interceptor. The cool videos I've seen on that, it looks, you know, really fun. A little bit of a learning curve, I think, to play that one, but I would try it out, you know, and there's still the Storm. So, you know, as far as there's still a lot of stuff in this game to do, you know, and I don't know. I don't think the game deserves the criticism on the negative end that it's gotten so far. Yes, it's got its flaws, but what other game is like this that's out there right now? I mean, we don't. Well, as far as looter shooters go, I mean, sure, Division 2 is going to come out, and that's going to be the competition. I mean, that's going to be your two big games of the year right there. Anthem and Division 2 are going to be your looter shooters. All right, nobody cares about Destiny anymore. They tanked that franchise. But I bought into it, paid the price, and it's just, you know, they ruined that. And I'm hoping Anthem does not follow that pattern. You know, you launched the game too soon. I don't think there's not enough content right now, but you've got plans, and just stick with those dates. Keep the content coming, make stuff fun, transmog items for people, because that's a lot of people like that stuff, you know. Give people stuff to do. Now, the downside is the rewards. Here's a big one that I saw a video of a guy. He actually did the challenge, the challenge of Valor and the challenge of Might rewards. And I finished my Valor one the other day, so I got my Reaper skin. But the challenge of Might, I believe, is the one you need to kill like 8,000 enemies. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot of enemies that you have to kill, okay? And there wasn't much of a reward. You get a lot of RP, and I think you get another vinyl. All right, but you didn't get any masterworks, you don't get any gear, you don't even get any coins. Okay, you just get a vinyl and a new challenge to do like 5 weekly quests and, you know, 20-something, I don't know, contracts and something pretty a joke. But they've got to work. I mean, for all that grinding, I feel you deserve you should get some kind of legendary item, something. I mean, anybody can get it, sure, but it's something that they've got to put something in the game to reward players for all that time and energy. So there's a lot of things they can do to this game that it can make it outstanding. Okay, Anthem has the potential to be a legendary game. It really does. It's a good game right now. Is it great? No. Is it? I mean, it's better than. I'm not gonna say it's average. It's better than average, but it's good, but it's not great. It has its flaws. But look at the potential here, and that's what people and players really need to look at. Is sure, it's got its flaws right now, but this has the chance to be an outstanding game and have all just fun for months and months and probably a couple years until they make a sequel, if they do. I think that's going to wrap it up for the day. Once again, guys, I want to thank you all so much for the feedback and positive, awesome comments you guys are leaving. Thank you for sharing the video and liking it. You know, hit those like buttons, crush that subscribe button, thumbs down if you didn't like it, but just leave me if you hate the video, tell me why at least. That's all I ask. I don't mind if you hate it, just let me know why and what can I do to improve it. So once again, I am Gridsquare. You guys can check me out on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the morning. Thank you all for watching. Let's do it again one day.